Hello folks, your weekly Fortify prescription video here, and this week I'm going to talk to you specifically about dealing with missed sessions. When people are on a program like this where they have a week laid out in front of them with a certain number of sessions to hit, I find that one of the most difficult things for us to deal with, and I talk about us because I follow a program that I write for myself, and I also have one-to-one clients who follow even more specific programs than the one you're following. And it can be really difficult when you have a week laid out in front of you and you've planned when you're going to go to the gym and something comes up that derails that plan, whether it's being sick, injured, tiredness, or whatever it is, something else going wrong in life. And you end up halfway through the week with only 50% of the gym sessions done that you wanted to do. And you look at the next few days and there's no space for that extra session. And one of the most common mistakes that I see is people trying to squeeze those missed sessions in. Now, for my one-to-one clients, it's easy because if it's an important session, I can just add it in to the week after. I amend things every week for them. But for you guys, it's really tricky because the program changes the week after, no matter what your week has gone like, because it's a generic program and there's a number of people following it. So what do I suggest here? Well, the reality is that what's happened has happened. And the best thing you can do is actually just leave that session and move on. So for example, if you had a session where you had back squats and pull-ups and there was a systematic progression through the weeks, which there always will be a systematic progression through the weeks because I'm looking to build you up, not break you down, and you miss a week of that progression, all you need to do is go back to where you were and reset. So if the week after has got less reps, you can maybe do the same reps that you did 2 weeks before. Or you do the less reps, but you just don't advance the load like you might have done if you hadn't missed that session. In the grand scheme of months and months and years of training, that missed session will add up to very, 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 very small to no difference to your progression. What will hinder your progression if you squeeze that session in is the then accumulated extra fatigue that you're going to carry into the week after. And what's not to say that there isn't going to be another session you miss. So are you constantly going to be stuck in this cycle of squeezing in extra sessions, which leads you down a slippery slope of fatigue, which increases the likelihood of injury and sickness? Remember, we're not professional athletes here. We're looking to stay healthy, look good naked, live a longer life, be a bit stronger, fitter, put on a little bit of muscle, lose a little bit of body fat. We're not looking to win the Olympic Games here. Every single session doesn't mean the end of the world. So if you miss a session, my very, very strong advice is to put it behind you. Unless you have loads of time in the week and it's going to actually be no drama at all to fit in the missed work or an element of the missed work. So if maybe you're on holiday and you're not working next week, then you could maybe squeeze it in knowing there's no dramas. But if you've got a really busy weekend and your schedule's jam-packed and you barely have enough time to go to the gym as it is, squeezing in those missed sessions is going to lead you down that slippery slope that I talked about. So really it's quite simple. If you miss a session, don't stress. Now, if you're consistently missing lots and lots of sessions each week, you need to look at something else. And maybe actually what you're trying to fit in isn't realistic for your life at the moment. Or you need to change your lifestyle. One of the two. And sometimes lifestyles just aren't changeable. If you've got kids and a full-time job, you might literally have no extra time to give to training. But maybe instead of aiming for 4 1-hour sessions per week, what you need to do is aim to do 3 30-minute sessions a week. And with the Fortify prescription, that's easy. Just do the first exercises. So if the Fortify prescription is A, B, C, D, and you wanted to make an hour session into a half-hour session, you just do the warm-up A and B. Maybe squeeze in C if there's time. You don't need to stress about the minutiae of what if you miss D and all that. You can, if you're only training that amount, then missing that one exercise isn't going to change a huge amount for you. But if you're constantly missing sessions and actually overfilling your schedule, that actually leads to quite a negative spiral and can be really difficult to keep motivated. So be realistic with the expectations you're setting. If anything, underplay it. It's always better to get to the week and be like, I've done everything I planned to do this week. And then the next week, if you're consistent with that, one thing you can do is just slowly layer in a longer session. Maybe the first session of the week is 45 minutes, the other two stay at 30 minutes. And then what you can do over time is build it up to a point that it fits your lifestyle. Likewise, if you're in a certain pattern at the moment, it's going well, but you know there's something coming along down the line. So for me, we're having a baby. I know that in a couple of months' time, my schedule is going to change drastically, and I'm probably going to have to revise how much training I'm doing. Even if I have the time, my sleep's going to be deprived, and it's just going to be a lot of change and adjustment for me. So I'm already thinking, how am I going to change my training up? How am I going to change up my schedule? What else needs to give? What else am I going to need to prioritize? Because there's certain things that you just can't not do. Work. We all have to work, unless you're very lucky. If we've got families, if we've got kids, we're going to have to prioritize them over our training. So it's just about finding that sweet balance that you're getting things done, but it's not causing you extra stress and sending you down this rabbit hole of constantly being fatigued and overtrained and stressing about training. So that's my advice. Whether you follow it or not is completely up to you. But I hope you found it helpful. We are coming up to the end of this cycle, one more week, and then we change on to a new cycle. If any of you want to change programs, go from Revitalise to Build or Build to Revitalise, please let me know next week and I'll get that sorted. If you've got any friends or family who you think would benefit from the Fortify prescription, please do. Point them in my direction and we'll get them signed up if it's something they are interested in. And hopefully we can spread the word. Thanks very much for listening and take care.